sorry about that. I had a call come in and I cut you off here. So this will be video number 3. We will continue with this. So this is section 1.3. This is still part B, continued, if you will. And so we're talking about multiplying with fractions when the denominators are different. Okay, or it doesn't matter if the denominators are the same or different. We said in this problem up here with multiplying with fractions, you multiply straight across. Now, I could multiply straight across here and then reduce this answer. But there's something that you can do in multiplying with fractions that you cannot do with adding and subtracting fractions. And that is you can cross cancel first. Cannot do this with adding and subtracting, but you can multiplying. And that's just simply this. If there's a number that will divide into one of the denominators and one of the numerators, you can reduce it first. For instance, 21 over 8. Nothing goes into both of these. But if you look at 21 and 7, 7 goes into both of these. So what I can do is I can divide 7 into 7 leaves 1. 7 into 21 leaves 3. Now look at this 10 and this 8. 2 goes into both of these. 2 divides into this 10 5 times. 2 divides into this 8 4 times. Now I can simply multiply straight across, and a negative times a negative, 2 negatives gives you a positive in multiplying. 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 times 4 is 4. And that is your final answer. It is reduced because there's nothing that goes into both 4 and 15. Okay, to close out this section, the last thing I want to go over with you is something that you'll hear a lot of a little bit later on, but we introduced it a little bit in this section, and it's called exponents. When you're dealing with exponents, when I read this, this is how this is read. 5 to the third power. Another way of saying that is simply this. 5 exponent 3. And remember, this is what we call the power, or the exponent. And this number right here is called the base. If there is no exponent written, it's understood 1. So every base has a power, and every power has a base. All right, so what does that exponent mean then? What the exponent does, if you remember, it tells you how many times to multiply this base times itself. So 5 to the third power doesn't mean multiply 5 times 3. It means to multiply 5 times itself 3 times. So 5 to the third power is just simply 5 times 5 times 5. Which is 125. Now let's do the next one. 2 to the 5th power. This just simply means multiply 2 times itself 5 times, which would be 32. Now, where you have to be a little careful with exponents are these two. Because on these two, when you read this, if I said close your eyes and let me read this, and I said negative 4 squared, negative 4 squared. These two problems right here read the same, but they're not the same. In this problem right here, the power is 2. In this problem right here, the power is 2. The difference is, in this one, the 2 is above the 4 only. In this one, the 2 is above the parentheses. How that makes it different is everything that is inside this parentheses is now your exponent. So this is your base, So here, the exponent's 2, the base is all of this. In this one, the exponent's 2, but the base is just the 4, not the negative. Now, here's how that makes a difference. If you do the top one, when you square it, you only duplicate the 4, not the negative. But in the second one, you do the negative 4 twice. In this case then, a negative times another negative, if the signs are the same with two numbers multiplying, you always get a positive answer. So, if I have this right here, negative 2 to the fourth power and negative 2 to the fourth power. These two problems right here are not the same. This one right here, the fourth power is on the 2 only. On this one, the fourth power is above the parentheses. So that means that everything that is in the parentheses is your base. Base 2, base negative 2. So when you write the top one out, you put the negative down, but you put the 2's down 4 times. So that's going to make your answer negative. And if you take 2 times itself 4 times, you get 16. But in the next one, the base is negative 2. So you repeat the negative 2 4 times. Now remember, every 2 negatives in multiplying, not in adding and subtracting, every 2 negatives in multiplying gives you a positive. So this will give you a positive and that will give you a positive. So the answer to this is positive. Now you just multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. Now, in this next section that we'll start in just a second, section 1.4 is where the algebra comes in. So what we're going to do, basically what we've done in section 1.3 is we've been doing arithmetic stuff. But everything that we do in the arithmetic, we're going to use in the algebra side. So if you can't add and subtract positive and negative numbers, if you can't multiply with positive and negative numbers, I'm not going to be able to teach you the algebra with the positive and negative numbers because it works the same, but you have to know those rules. You'll hear me say this probably multiple times. Mathematics is a vertical class. That means that everything we do builds up. We don't teach things in mathematics horizontally. We teach vertically. So everything I teach you on one video, you will use more than likely on the very next video. Things that I'm teaching you right now, we will be doing at the end of this course, still using it. So it's very important that you become proficient in all of your homework as we go through. That's why it's very important that you stay on task with it as well. Okay, in this next section, we're going to start... is going to be section 1.4. So I'm going to stop this video and I will start another one so we'll have a clean start.